It's 8:30, John. It's time to get it done. Hello, everybody, and welcome in to another exciting episode of Bloody Good Horror. My name's Eric, and I'll be your host for this evening, where we will be reviewing Bring Her Back. It's A24. It's the crew that did Talk to Me. They are back in U.S. theaters, and we're here to talk about it tonight. Joining me first up from Manhattan, New York City, with a backwards hat on, straight up looking like the lead singer of Puddle of Mud. Please welcome John Schnars to the show.
Wow. 90s throwback is it's back, isn't it? Aren't we? We've moved past 90s throwback and now we're into
I feel like if Puddle
throwback.
of Mud is going to have a
Audie's
resurgence, right now is the time.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm here.
Someone get word to them immediately. The window is closing.
The puddle is drying up.
A couple drops left in that bottle. Next up from Indiana, celebrating his basketball wins. Please welcome Casey to the show.
Yes, sirs.
And last up tonight from Oakland, California, from her little horror closet here. Please welcome
Yes.
Rachel to the show.
My little murder basement. Welcome to the murder basement.
I'm kind of, honestly, Rachel, I'm always like jealous of your little background here. I do like being in my living room because it's just all the space and the natural light, but also I just don't have a cool, spooky, creepy background behind me. So
A spooky cave.
I don't know. We make sacrifices. If you really matter to you, you too.
or this
would have
like
a spooky wall.
or this like Victorian library situation that Schnars has going on.
This is actually also my living room. Well, I'm actually at the kitchen table. Which
We
is also
get
the
it. You
living room table.
read.
I've read
Proposes.
some of those books, just to be clear.
I like the color organization on your shelves, Schnars.
Well, that's,
Yeah.
that's Suzanne. That's
Tell her, give her my
lady does.
kudos.
mine would be in piles that go vertically.
Yeah, that's how
Where
mine
I
are.
store my books. So
All right, y'all, let's do it. Let's take a quick break and review Bring Her Back.
This is it, Jennifer. Your big break in TV. But the prime time. Main feature.
John, maybe even more important than the fact that Bring Her Back is in theaters, is that the first horror section release, Jimmy and Stiggs, had a trailer in those theaters.
in front of said film, Bring Her Back. Yeah.
How does it
I mean,
feel?
that's what I feel like most people who were at the
Are
theater
there
were
for,
there
yeah.
to see. Good. Look, I mean, it's out in the world, and
Out here doing business.
yeah, the business is happening. No, we're excited. There's actually a screening.
How hard is it to get a trailer in films, like in front of movies?
I mean, like if you have money, it's not hard. Like they will take your money and they will put your trailer in front of the movie.
Well, I
don't know
don't think
when-
a layperson, John, myself included, has any clue what goes into that process.
I'm learning. So here's what I will tell you. And this actually was a perfect example because I saw the movie. Oh God, when did I go? I might have gone. I think I went Saturday morning. Great time to see a horror movie, obviously. Saturday morning, one of my faves. There was our trailer. There might have been one other paid trailer, and then there were 5 A24 trailers. I don't know. Like when you guys saw it, did you get like? I'm curious what the ratio of A24 to, because basically when you put the movie in the theater, oftentimes you will negotiate with the exhibitor the right to basically
I feel like
monopolize
that's
the trailer
common of an
space.
A24 movie. Like, hey, you little fucking weirdo. You like weird shit? Here's like 10 other
That's
weird
also
things.
true. Well, and look, they maybe, I don't know, there could be like money being exchanged there because the trailers, like you do the trailering buys with the exhibitors themselves. And so like if they're taking money away from an AMC, for example, because they're like, we want to put our trailers in front of it, maybe there's some other kind of exchange going on. Like what I'll say is like we have folks that we work with who are putting Jimmy and Stiggs in theaters. They also handle all of the trailer buys and like
That part of it, yeah.
the conversation I had with them is like, what movies do you want to try to be in front of? And I was like, okay, we want to be in front of Bring Her Back. We're going to be in front of Ballerina, which is coming this week, but only in select theaters. We're going to be on, I know you did last summer, all the horror stuff this summer we're going to be in front of, but like in select areas. And we're trying to like, you build a puzzle to like put the trailer on as many things as you can and just get awareness out there, you know?
Love awareness. Thanks,
Awareness
John.
is good.
BGH fans learning about horror business.
Business talk.
There is a really fun, like, fan-made documentary called Horror Business that came out in like 2007 or 8. It's a lot of fun.
I don't know. I'm going to look this up.
It's about like the convention scene and like indie horror, and it's cool. It's a vibe.
Yeah.
All right, John, please bring us the word of the day.
Eric, today's word is custodian. That's Custodian, custodian. I'm going to give you one definition here. A person who has responsibility for or looks after something. Could be a building. Could be a cafeteria, Could be a couple of small children, as in this here film. Custodian comes to us from the Latin custodia. Though I don't get, I think it actually just means like custody. I think it was just like the way they said custody. So, yeah, custodian.
I love it.
So there you go.
Tell me about Bring Her Back.
Yeah. Well, we mentioned the A24 piece. This is the second feature from the Philippou brothers, Danny and Michael, who I should know this, and I'm hoping maybe Rachel is going to correct me. They're Australian.
Correct. They're
Not
Greek
New
Australian.
Zealand. Okay.
Yeah.
Great. Australian brothers, Michael and Danny Philippou of Talk to Me. Can we just say up top, very confusing to have 2 3-word title films back then. Like I've been like mixing these titles in my head up. Talk to Me,
I
Bring
want to call
Her
that
Back.
Let Me In so bad every
Yes.
single time.
I-
Because
I-
it makes sense.
Yes. Yeah. So tough. I had a hard time remembering the name of this movie before I saw it. But Bring Her Back, it's a topical title once you sort of know what's going on. Danny and Michael directed. Danny wrote alongside Bill Hinsman, who was one of the other writers on Talk to Me. And we basically have a 4-person cast. I mean, 4 and some extras. You have we open with Andy and
We
Piper.
open with a snuff film, like a low budget Russian snuff film.
There is this like we get this sort of found footagey looking shot, very sort of disorienting. You're not sure what's going on, but then we sort of immediately are introduced to Andy and Piper, who are brother and sister, sort of stepbrother and sister. Piper is sort of like Asian or half Asian descent. Andy is like, white Australian. So it's like sort of this mixed family. There's no mom in the picture. They just have a dad. Andy is very much sort of like taking care of her because Piper, or like wanting to take care of her. Piper's 14, Andy's 17. It's important because Piper is mostly blind. She's sort of like very visually impaired. She can see light. She can see like shapes, colors a little bit. But, he's sort of helping her and sort of pretty protective of her. And it's like basically the first scene of the film, the father dies. And now they are like thrust into the custodial system. What's the word? I'm just like,
Foster.
now I'm stuck on
Foster
custodian.
system.
Yeah. So they are placed with Sally Hawkins, just delightful Sally Hawkins, whose character's name is Laura, and she is going to be their new foster mother. There's one other child in the home who she calls Oliver. Oliver is mute. And we sort of like don't know a ton about sort of what's going on with Laura, what's going on with Oliver. I would say, to the extent there's a main character, I mean, Piper and Andy are sort of like joint main characters. We're sort of experiencing this transition, I would say, more from Andy's perspective at certain times, and then from Piper's perspective at other times. But it pretty quickly, like, sort of weird stuff is happening. I would say a lot of the weird stuff is hanging off of Oliver and his relationship with Laura. Not only does he not talk, but he's like sort of goofy. Laura also is like very off kilter. She's like sort of she at first like didn't want Andy at all. So there's this whole thing where like she's like not welcoming and not even sort of like acknowledging him. But she's sort of forced to take him, and then she immediately starts to try to undermine and or like
Gaslight
I
the
don't
hell
I was
out
gonna
of.
say gaslight, like I don't know if it's like exact like
Oh,
she,
100%
well
is
she
gaslighting.
you're right, it's actually like the traditional form of gaslighting where like she's just making him destabilized and like crazy.
Yeah.
And these are two kids, by the way, who are experiencing trauma / grief for the loss of their father, who they found dead, naked, having fallen out of the shower. There's like other backstory with the dad and Andy that becomes sort of like pretty material as the movie goes on. But what's basically revealed, and like, I don't know if this is too spoilery, but like to get us to like the midway point of the movie, and then I'll stop. Oliver is being used by Laura as sort of a vessel for a I don't know, like possession ritual that she is trying to sort of work through, which we come to understand is actually the thing we saw in that first shot of the film. And it also is going to involve Piper, and sort of Andy is like a blocker in making that happen. And so that's sort of the tension and the sort of narrative thrust that then carries us through the back half.
Thrust.
Exactly.
Casey, what do you think?
So I went into this totally blind. I was closer to Eric on Talk to Me. I thought it was okay, but it didn't blow my mind like a lot of people. I didn't get the hype. So going into this one, I had kind of low expectations going in blind, and I'm really glad I did because I was kind of captivated by this movie from beginning to end. It really sucked me in early on, just watching everything unfold. And I think the whole cast was great. I think all the kids were great and their acting and everything, but Sally Hawkins really carries this movie and really kind of blows me away with her performance here. And she's so quirky and everything from the very beginning. You can't help just but watch her throughout all these slow moments of the movies just to see, because you can tell from the very beginning something's weird, and you're trying to, she's sucking you in, so you're watching her every movement to see if you can catch what's going on, what's weird. And I thought that was a great aspect of this movie, and it just carries on, and then it starts to turn as we get into the weirder aspects of it, and this movie just gets downright brutal. It is. I haven't seen a movie this brutal in a while and not qualify as like torture porn. And I don't think this is torture porn. I think this is something on its own. But this is like brutality like you might see on that, but it's part of the story and everything. And I was just kind of really blown away by it by the end. And it's such a roller coaster too, like I said. And there's moments in this movie I was like, holy shit, they did do it. So kudos to them on their second effort.
Eric's on mute, but I assume he wants Rachel to start talking.
I didn't know I was muted. Rachel.
So, okay, I think John actually said it best when he texted us Hachi Machi.
Yeah.
Because
I pronounce it
that is-
Achi Machi, but yeah.
Oh,
Sure.
I'm sorry. It's a West Coast, East Coast thing that's happening here, dialectical differences and whatnot. This movie to me is like a punch to the nervous system. I don't think that I have writhed and audibly groaned as much as I have in a theater since like maybe the Evil Dead remake. I was beside myself. Poor Matilda had to like listen to me be like, holy shit, through the whole movie because I was just like, my nervous system was on fire. Like, it's like it takes you right away. There's something off. There's something. It's nice as she sort of presents as that you can feel that underneath there is something sinister happening. So it just like grabs a hold of you and like twisted me in knots until it like that final act where it just starts punching you with like most visceral and like emotional violence that I have witnessed in a long time. So as to say like bravo to the Philippines, bravo, like my dead inside self was completely fucking rattled by this movie. And I think in part it's because they as writers, and this was true in Talk to Me as well, which for the record I really loved, and I went into that totally cold. I saw that at South by, and so like at the premiere, so nobody knew what the fuck they were getting into. But they have an efficiency in the way that they write characters and character dynamics that make you like invest in those really, really quickly. By the time they were walking away from that bus, I turned to Matilda and was like, oh, this one's going to fucking hurt. And hurt, it did. It did. Because I was so bought into these characters and watching them their vulnerability as they were like passed through the system, especially once you learn more about the backstory of Sally Hawkins' characters and how effectively she's able to weaponize the knowledge base that she has to gaslight him and to discredit him. All of that stuff is like, it's in a drama would be emotionally brutal, but then you add that horror elements and it's just fucking grueling. There are moments in this movie that I will never unsee. I think we'll talk about that. I have some minor quibbles with some lack of elegance around one of the plot lines so that it doesn't quite hit as hard as it should have. And I'm curious to see how that element kind of ages over time. But overall, it's kind of weird to say that I like loved something that I also felt personally victimized by, but here we are.
John.
Yeah, no, I had a very similar experience to Rachel where I left the theater feeling like I had been traumatized, at a certain level. And so when something has done that, like I kind of have to tip my cap, because to get to that point, you have to be bought in or invested in the movie and in the characters enough for it to have that impact. And so, yeah, I mean, for me, it's such a small film in some ways, right? Like we talked, there's 4 characters. I mean, the dad is kind of a character. There's like the other social worker lady who's a character. I can't even remember other people that show up.
No, that's really it.
The things that between Sally Hawkins, the fucking kid who plays Oliver/Connor, incredible. Like the stuff they have this kid doing. He's 12. I looked this up.
Yeah.
I was like, I have an 11-year-old. I'm like, I cannot even believe the actress who plays the Piper. They like found her on the street. Like she was like a actress before
She
this
was
movie.
like a
great.
Facebook ad.
Yeah.
Like, that shit is
Yeah.
wild.
It's kind of crazy. And look, like Andy is really strong as well. Like they took 4 characters, put them into some very intense situations, and got, I think, really incredible performances, especially again for Piper having truly never done anything before. I almost like can't believe it. I'm very curious, Rachel, which part for you didn't necessarily come together. I think, look, like if I were to nitpick, the way the film is structured is very interesting to me, and I almost kind of want to watch it again because it disorients you off the top with this video, and there is a bit of a mystery element to everything that's happening here and like what Sally Hawkins is actually up to. And so there is this aspect of like them withholding information from you that they're teasing you with and sort of ladling out in certain ways. Now, as I was saying, the film, if you read the film as like basically you're experiencing it through Andy and Piper's shoes, like you wouldn't know what Sally's up to, you know, or Sally, what Laura's up to. But they sort of cheated a little bit to give you sort of the maximum creepiness, you know, which is fine. Like it works for me. I do think, like, I guess it's sort of like the Act 2 area gets there's a little bit of, they had to get from one place to another, and it doesn't like get there incredibly, but even during that time, like there are some like really like wild scenes. I mean, the stuff as the things began to ramp up with Oliver, that's where you're really getting it's like body horror level. I mean, it is body horror, I mean, at a certain point. And some of those shots and some of those sequences are just really wild. So, yeah, I mean, look, this worked for me really, really well. It's not like a fun movie. This is like the other thing that makes it like hard to recommend. Like you don't walk away on yes, like it's fucking sad. And like, it's one of those movies where I'm like, do we need a wellness check on the Philippines? Like what, especially after Talk to Me and then this movie. And one other thing I'll say, and then I'll stop. The other thing I would say, I do feel like the plot beats were very similar at certain points to Talk to Me, which I haven't seen in a little while, but like, I just feel like it progressed in similar ways, and like
There's
it's all
thematic overlap for
well.
sure.
There's a ton of thematic overlap as well.
Yeah.
And so I would like them to make a movie that's not about people who can't get over the grief of losing someone. Like that's for the next movie.
Trauma, John.
Yeah.
Just don't get it.
Well, it's not. It's more grief than trauma. Like because there wasn't like a trauma here so much
Well,
as like someone can't let go of a.
Hard disagree. He found his father face down in the shower, vomiting up blood and mucus.
But it's not.
I think it's both.
It's not his trauma. It's Sally Hawkins' grief, like the grief of the main character in Talk to Me. Those are the
Yeah, that's the
grieving.
horrific
I would
part.
argue that it's both because I think she's using his trauma to manipulate him.
I also agree with you, though. I was like, when I walked out of there, I was like, well, Hollywood, we did it. We have covered grief, moratorium on
Like,
grief.
we're done.
We did it.
Yeah, if there's one place where I can be in full agreement with you guys on this, it's that her performance. Her name is Sally. That's the
Sally
mother,
Hawkins,
Sally Hawkins,
foster mother. She's really the kind of glue that binds it all together, and I think that I will agree. She's just very, very captivating. I think it's interesting the way they show her sort of slow breaking down of their boundaries to start. Very uncomfortable to watch, but then also like, especially if you kind of know how manipulative people act, like it's deeply accurate and sort of tough to watch. And then that turns into, like, as you say, Rachel, like her kind of beginning the process of separating the two of them by kind of gaslighting him. And there's this interesting aspect to that because the girl is blind. It makes it easier because she can kind of say these subtle things to shape what her reality and understanding are of something. So I think that actress is great. I agree. Like both of the kids are pretty solid. The older kids are pretty solid too. I didn't know that about the one girl. That's pretty amazing that she's like not really an actress because she's great. I think I just don't super care for the movies these guys make. Like, this one to me goes way over the edge of like being so bleak and dark that it's not entertaining anymore. And that's a weird thing that I can't fully quantify because I fucking love Ari Aster movies. But there's some kind of dark, I don't know. They're just, Ari Aster movies to me manage to be entertaining in a way that keeps me from being consumed by the darkness.
I think you might get tested with this next Ari Aster movie. I mean, we'll see.
I think you
but-
should
Yes,
go back and
no,
watch
I'm
the
actually-
strange thing about the Johnsons.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
will break.
I'm
you.
actually with you on that one. What's interesting, I think Talk to Me is a better movie. And And I think this movie, to me, largely gets into theaters based on the merit of like that movie being a kind of surprise hit. What's interesting about it though is like, in a weird way, both of these movies feel similar to me in that they are 1/3 of a good movie to me. I think that Talk to Me is a first act, great first act, has no idea what it's doing after the first act. This movie is reversed. It's so slow. I was missing that like kinetic, energetic first act of Talk to Me in this movie. Like we're just in hardcore, traditional, like, you know, I get it. It has its own unique things to the story, but it's really, we've seen this kind of movie before. There's a new guardian. They're creepy. We don't know why. We're going to skulk around the house and see Flash. It's like an hour and 10 goddamn minutes before anything fucking happens in this movie. And in some ways, I guess I would argue it is better for a film to have to really nail it in the third act, because then at least you're being left in a satisfying way. But for me personally, the problem with that is I'm checked out. So like, even if I'm like, all right, okay, like I see you, like I've already written the thing off. Like it's hard for me to stay in it when I'm not invested that early on. The best moment in this movie to me that's very fast is when she hits them with the car, because it comes out of nowhere. Reminds me of what was a South American movie that everybody fucking loves that I also didn't like, but the one where there's just random murders that happen out of nowhere.
Where
Yes.
when evil lurks.
Yeah. That moment kind of reminded me of some of the best moments from that movie. Just shocking, out of nowhere. It's shot really well, and kind of I'm pretty on board with like everything that happens beyond that moment, except Casey kind of invoked torture porn. Like, no, this is not torture porn, but I think some of those scenes with like the knife in the mouth, like, come on, like you're just like, this is fucking Hostile, and you're cutting the dude's Achilles tendon.
Careful.
And like,
not too much, Eric.
Yeah.
Not
Watch
too
what you
much.
say about Hostile.
no, but Hostile knows what it is, right? And it was very like in a moment in time. And Hostile's a great movie. I'm just saying, like, this, it was just too much for me. Like, I don't need to sit here and fucking watch him like hack up his mouth with a knife. It was just like, I'm like, can we just move on?
Do
Like,
something wholesome, like Terrifier, gentle.
Exactly.
Horror.
But
Get a
Terrifier,
fucking
but Terrifier has this. Even the first one has like a sense of humor to it. Yes, it's pitch black, right? But like, there's something in there that's sort of the second one, which is probably my least favorite, but a super like cheeky sense of humor runs through that whole film. You know what I mean? It's like I'll give you an example like that I talk about sometimes. Like people say Breaking Bad is the most depressing show of all time. Ozark is way more depressing than Breaking Bad because it has not a single ounce of humor in the whole thing. Like you go back and watch Breaking Bad, it's actually a deeply funny show that is also depressing. I'm on a tangent now. Anyway, these movies aren't for me.
Do you have any other TV shows from 10 years ago that you want to comment on? While we're
These
here?
movies aren't for me. I think that Talk to Me is better, and I also don't like Talk to Me. But I think I think this third act has
Let
some
me rank these things I don't care for.
I think, well, it's just interesting because I came out of Talk to Me being like, I didn't love that, but like, there's a lot of potential here. And then I see this, and I'm kind of like, I'm kind of stumped. Like, who are these guys, and what are we doing here? I guess is my question that I have. But
I
has some
preferred
shining
this
moments,
film
I do
to
think.
Talk to Me. I think this is a stronger film than Talk to Me. Now, I think mostly, well, I don't know.
That's
It's been
so
a while.
interesting because I'm seeing mostly my sentiment on the internet. I'm seeing mostly people being like disappointed after really.
Here-
Well, no,
here's
well,
a
the
secret.
internet's
Don't
the
go on the internet. Yeah. Don't,
John,
you know.
I have much larger internet problems these days.
The
seeing movie opinions is the least stressful thing happening to me. on the
I mean,
internet
like,
these days.
I think the performances here are just stronger, you know, and like, this is where I say, like, there are a lot of similarities between those movies. And you are right. They're basically humorless. Like, I'm trying to think, was there a single moment of this where I was like, ha, you know, like,
There is
not
some
a
humor,
not
but
a
there are
laugh.
moments of warmth. I would say there are moments of warmth, and that's what makes the rest of it hit so hard.
Well-
and that was true in Talk to Me as well.
Yeah. The brother sister relationship here is like really good. It's great. I think Andy, like, I was worried it was gonna go like super. I mean, we can talk about where it really goes. But like I was worried he was gonna turn in a way that I was like, he basically like. We have good characters here and we have bad characters. Like there is good and evil in this film that are, I mean, I would say mostly identifiable. Well, Rachel, you're going to tell me
I think
there's something wrong with Piper? Like,
no. I think what's interesting to me is that the third act provides you with the space to have a lot of empathy for Laura. Like when you...
Who's Laura?
When you really see the breadth
Sally
and width
Hawkins.
of her pain.
So that's actually a huge problem for me with this movie is that I didn't feel an ounce of empathy for her because she's hurting children. So like
I don't like that part of her.
In my head, and that's a struggle because I actually think there's a version. I think there's a version of this that is much more nuanced and impactful. But she's such a like scary, insidious character, and the fact that she's doing this to children to me made it very black and white to me, which is interesting because like I'm not a black and white person. Like I'm not prone to reading things in black and white.
Disconnect that we're having right now.
A what?
Are we having like a parent crone disconnect?
Yeah.
Right
Wait,
now?
but you would expect me as a
The
parent,
crones
though, right?
feel
Wouldn't
like
you,
this.
Wouldn't you expect me as a parent to just have baked in like, oh, I get this. Like she's just trying to bring her kid back, you know?
Maybe, but also just sort of like the protectiveness around a child, probably. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I was feeling so much empathy towards the children, like you said, being put into this system. That's just like even that is like an unimaginable thought to me. So then the fact that they're not safe, I was like, well, I don't.
No, I
couldn't tune into it with the mom.
I just don't want I mean, that's not true. Sometimes it's fun to have like a mustache twirling villainous, like one note character. But I think in a movie like this, where it is such an emotional ringer, I appreciate them giving some depth to her. So she's not just like some quirky weirdo. The things she's doing are terrible, but they come from a place of just like unhinged levels of grief.
Yeah, exactly.
So
it's the grief of her that you sympathize with by the end of it, because
I was rooting for her. Yeah.
Right. You're not rooting for her, but you're like, I see what's driving her.
I can make sense of it.
Yeah.
Therapy works wonders for grief.
She was a therapist, wasn't she?
I mean,
yeah.
As Matilda will tell you,
also
they are not a well people.
No, I mean,
Now, you ever see In Treatment, John?
that's like the first thing
Speaking
you know
of TV
about
shows I
therapists
like.
based on
Yeah.
TV. Yeah. No, it's an interesting one. Like because I think Rachel, you sort of mentioned they sort of like lay into that the hardest in the third act. Mm-hmm. And there is a question of like if you had pulled some of that forward a little bit, because like she's pretty cartoonishly evil at like when she does the bit of peeing in the measuring cup and pouring it on him. Oh my Lord!
I know.
That's where
it's so unsettling.
By the way,
Yeah.
she's dehydrated. I was concerned.
I'll tell you. You know what my
she's
what,
busy
she needs-
babysitting a demon.
She needs some electrolytes.
you want to know what my biggest like? I don't know about this of the entire movie was. They get super hammered, and she's basically like functioning at a pretty high level like 5 minutes later. That was my only come on.
That's not how drunk Schnars goes.
I've been on benders with people. I've been on benders myself.
We've been around you on a bender, John.
Yeah, no, it's
We see her
benders
take
happen.
a couple of shots, but but then it cuts forward quite a bit. I don't know that we know exactly how much of that is performance and how much of that is actually being
True.
drunk.
She took a
Remember, she
bunch
has
of
a shot at
shots
the end,
on
she
screen
knocks
though.
over.
Yeah, that's true.
That scene
plus-
made me. It is funny. I do think one of the things it's good at is making you feel uncomfortable. Like that scene made me so uncomfortable watching her.
Well,
do it.
Yeah.
Her
even the
ability
scene,
to transgress boundaries and like manipulate people in that way is part of what makes her so sinister
Casey, what were you
and
gonna
so
say?
effective.
No, I was just gonna say it's not, to me, I didn't have a problem with that because it's not inconceivable that she's obviously been up to something kooky with this kidnapped kid in there that she probably, I just assumed she was probably a drinker anyways, and those couple shots didn't do much.
Or she
Sure,
was
and
faking
she's
it or something.
well, and she's also been dealing with her own grief, and so yeah.
Exactly.
Now, okay, fine, put
They
her to
didn't
the
show
side.
that.
She's also an adult. The first time I
He's-
drank a beer, I blacked out, John. I
He's
was 16.
17 and she is getting him like super loaded. And then they have this like moment of like, heart to heart. He would have been like slurring his words
Yeah,
and
definitely,
all
yeah.
over the place. I don't know. It's fine. Look, it works. And like narratively, I got by it. But I was like, this is a lot of drinking for them to then have this moment where they like have a cogent conversation, So
Then again,
that's another, just one piece of
it's
feedback.
Australian filmmakers, and I know they like to drink.
That's true. The Australians.
You know, had a good time.
Fair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just really blown away by the world building here. I go back to that a lot, I know, but it's just like a fantastic little pocket of a weird story that's
Yeah.
going on. It reminded me a lot of that one we watched 4 or 5 years ago about the lady who was trying to summon an angel in the old abandoned mansion.
Yeah,
That's what this
like
reminded me of.
that a dark song.
Yes.
It's like one of my favorite movies we've ever reviewed on the show, and I think much easier. Like that whole movie's she's the main character. It's easier to feel
Yeah.
empathy, right? And she's not hurting anyone, and she's just shaving that weird dude's back.
Yeah, they're not exactly the same, but it really feels to me it really kind of lumped in the whole with the grief, especially.
There's definitely a thread.
That's
there,
the
yeah.
definite connection I made.
I like the way, I talked about earlier, like the way they use that video that she has that's like disorienting in the beginning, but they do ladle it out throughout because we see her watching it. We sort of are given a lot more as we go through. I also like that they don't fucking over explain it. It's like, we don't know
Yeah.
where this thing comes from. Like, she's just like a grief stricken person. This is like a thing that crossed
There's
her path
no, like,
at some point.
Necronomicon.
Yeah.
Not
and-
sure it's gonna work.
Yeah.
Like she's
And-
not especially good at doing it. All of those things are.
Yeah,
No.
and for
You know what I
me,
mean? She's not like some high priestess. Like she's
Well,
fucking
yeah.
up and
yeah.
yeah.
Do you
Well,
think
to
this
me
was
too.
inspired by Jason Goes to Hell?
Will it make you like the movie more? Then yes.
No.
Yeah. So for me too, the way they unfolded this from the beginning and they dabbled out that information like Schnars was talking about, and they give you a little bit more as you slowly put the pieces together yourself. For me, in that like the knife scene that Eric was talking about, to me, I still wasn't exactly sure in my head what exactly was going on. And then so as soon as that happened, that's when my brain was like, oh, he's a demon of some sort. He's got to be.
Well,
And
There
then
was
I'm
that little
sucked in.
moment in the mirror.
Oh yeah, definitely. But that was like the big moment for me where everything clicked in my brain. It's like, okay, this is some kind of demon shit. And then I'm even more intrigued to see where they're going with it.
The mirror thing was one of the only things where I was like, what? Because
Yeah.
I liked that there was a corporealness to the demon, right? Like it had to be in this little kid.
I love
The
that
mirror
corporeal threat.
breaking was like a moment of like, oh, this demon can do shit outside of the little kid.
Yeah.
So that was a bit of a like jump scare,
Yeah.
I'm trying to think,
I like
was
a
there
good jump scare?
no, totally. Look, it's again, it works. It also gives you the like moment at the end of the film where the other lady's like walking around the house but I'm trying to think, were there any other moments where the demon does anything that
Well,
disrupts?
he mimics voices. That's
Yeah.
something he does.
Yeah.
And we do see other like signs of transformation. There's obviously the one at the end where like we're seeing this small child essentially pregnant with
Yeah,
with
that
soul.
distension was
But also there's
crazy.
that distorted through the window thing where his head kind of like is in the shape of horns.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
Remember that?
But again, all of those are tied to him in a way that like the mirror physically breaking.
Well, I mean, here's the thing: is he's there with this very specific agenda. I think it's like breaking with our traditional ideas about how demons work and what they do. It doesn't have like those sort of like Judeo-Christian
No,
ideas
yeah,
of
which I
demons. So, like,
appreciate.
that it has the power to resurrect. Is it really that shocking? It could break a mirror. I mean, not to me,
Yeah,
but it also like we don't actually. To your point, we don't understand the agenda of this demon. We don't
no.
understand how much it's under control. It seems like it doesn't. Normally, they feel trapped in circles. This one doesn't. This one seems to be voluntarily inside one. that, like, you know what I mean? Like it kind of breaks all of our ideas about how demons function, which I think is really
Well,
actually really
it's
interesting.
it's its whole own mythos, or
Yeah.
little so.
Yeah,
And again,
this demon's
I
here to
like
do a
that.
job.
Yeah.
Yeah, I I didn't understand, and again, like this is where they left so much meat on the bone here. If they wanted to make a sequel of some kind, like there's like so much room to like kind of explore this world. How long the demon had to be in the kid? Because it's a long time. I think
Well,
they say
it wasn't-
Connor's been missing like 10 days or something,
Yeah.
10 or 12
I
days.
mean, yeah.
I was gonna say
in-
it wasn't that long.
But in the video, they make it seem, she's watching this video and it sort of seems like the steps are, just because the way it's edited together, they seem more sequentially close together.
Well, she has to wait till
time.
the pool is filled to the right level. That's why she keeps saying,
Oh,
"Don't
because she has
eat,
to
don't
mimic.
eat."
She has to
Yeah,
has
mimic
to
because
mimic
she has
the
to
dad.
die the
Okay.
same way.
Yeah, that's what that line in the pool's about. So
I forgot about the line in the pool. You're right.
Yeah, yeah.
I forgot
love
about
movies.
mimicking the death.
Yeah, I need to watch this again. This one is, I love a movie that I can like put on a tinfoil hat and like look at all the symbolism. There's so much intentionality in this, and the way like use of color, use of like small details like the degradation of her nail polish, or there's just like all of the use of the motifs of circles and planes and all that kind of stuff. Like this is the kind of movie that I can completely geek out on. I mean, the thing that like got me more than anything was probably the sound of the plane at the very end when she's like leaving, because it's like this callback to like her brother's soul, like moving. I'm gonna get emotional. No, I'm not. I'm gonna move on from this topic. But yeah, like this thing hit me like a ton of bricks. I'm a little sad that not everybody got that same experience, because it's so rare to like
Eric.
feel something these days.
I feel plenty. Trust me.
I guess maybe that's true. Maybe you're like all using up your feelings battery.
He's already
Positive
he's
things.
felt out
Boo.
right now. Yeah.
I'm spent for 2025 already.
Yeah.
What was
this
it-
way? It didn't hit my anxiety so much, just more
did
of my
mine.
shock and awe.
Yeah.
¿Por qué no los dos?
Yeah.
Rachel,
was
what
at
was the thing you
Never
referenced that you said you weren't your one piece
okay.
of criticism?
I want to know how I feel about this as time goes on, because I don't like, everything is like woven together so elegantly so that every little thing kind of feel like the payoff is there for it. I think when you're talking about the middle part being a little baggy, this kind of falls into this. And I think it's the backstory with the dad and like finding out about the abuse of the dad. Like, it's not that it's bad. It's just in like comparison to how well the other elements are handled. That
Yeah.
one felt like it felt a little extraneous. I don't know.
It felt tacked on.
Yeah, I mean, I know it's important, and in many ways, like it almost felt like unnecessary on top of the trauma of catching him or like finding his dead body. Like that would have been enough, but we have this other element. That being said, one of the most horrifying moments in this movie, like, yes, obviously the flossing scene and the string cheese arm is really fucked, but when she walks in and punches that girl in the face, like that,
Oh my god.
absolutely, like, I don't know, maybe because it was like less fantastical, that thing
Yeah.
wrecked me. So like there is payoff for it, but it just felt, it like stood out to me in a way that I was like, like in the back of my teeth, I was like, oh, I don't know. And I was wondering if anybody else felt that way too.
So here's the thing. There's so much. There is a ton of plot in this movie. Like like the way I think about it is like the script here is doing so many different things through four people, and so yeah, like I would agree with you. You're right, because you're right. That stuff does all happen in that second act.
Yeah.
And it's like set up decently well. You get this whole like.
It's a little hat on a hat.
Yeah, because I guess and that's again, like I'd almost have to watch it again at this point, because there's this whole, like there is a through line where we know in the beginning or early on that there was an incident where he punched his sister. She doesn't remember it though, and so like then you're like, okay, well, how's that going to come back? And then it like sort of going to come back to like be part of the wedge between them, but it's like we get the explanation for why he did it, and it's like, yeah, like there's a lot of compounding of plot or narrative there, that like, could you have trimmed some, like could you have just like lost that entire section? Probably. I'm just remembering, we do get the sequence with the dad appearing to the brother which is just another sort of like random like spooky things are happening in the house because like a demon is sort of loose, but it's like the dad is whatever, like demonified, like it's like a corpse, but he also like warns the brother about what's going to happen. So it's sort of like, okay, wait, what's happening here? Is the demon helping the brother? Like that was another part where I'm like, but
it gets a little messy. And I think the thing with the punching of the sister also, it like adds some confusion around like, did he cause her blind? No, I don't think so. I don't like that because what I love about the dynamic of the relationship is that it's like he loves his sister and like maybe he has guilt about having done it, but there's no obligation in their relationship. And I think if you add that, it changes the dynamic in a way that feels like a little less pure. And and like, I love complicated, but I think this dynamic works because there is no sense of obligation. Like it is a chosen family to some degree.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I don't know. But now that's not to say that I don't really like the movie. I may watch it again. And to me, like I may completely change my mind about it, but it was the one thing in the whole movie that kind of, I felt my eyebrow raise a little bit.
Part of when there is so much sort of like plot things happening, it almost does take a second watch to go, oh yeah, it all does fit together, you know, or like they did land it, but the first time through you're just like piecing these things together in real time.
I mean, it is kind of the like coup de grace, right, in terms of making him an unreliable narrator or like or discrediting him, because best case scenario, she pulls off the ritual, but now she has somebody fighting her for custody unless she can discredit him in the meantime. So like hence the pee, hence the like pushing him to violence, and then, you know, making it look like he's punched her again. You know, so I get the functionality of it in the script. I just don't know that it like landed 100% for me, like on the emotional beats, or like it just felt it was the thing that felt most plotty to me, if that makes any sense.
It does. There's also a question of like, was the Lara plan ever really going to work? Like,
I mean, it was a very sloppy plan, born of total desperation.
Yeah, exactly.
Like best case scenario, I think it falls through, but
that total desperation and unpreparedness is part of what I love with her character and everything, especially with those flashbacks to the videotapes, because you get to see her physically panic, like, oh no, what do I do? And I got to run to the tape to see it. I just thought that was a cool little flavor to the story.
Yeah. Man, when she holds his face in that puddle, though, goddamn. This movie, goddamn.
Pretty brutal.
Not fun. Yeah, that's not a fun moment.
Feel bad movie of the year?
Yeah.
It's going to be tough to beat. I know what you did last summer.
I kept trying to think.
I saw that Abomination Megan 2 trailer. Maybe that.
I kept trying to think about if this film was American, what like quirky character actress would you cast as the other lady who works at the agency?
Oh, the other lady at the agency.
Paula.
Margot
You know who I kept
Martindale?
picturing? Do you remember Hogan family? Remember Mrs. Poole?
Yeah.
That's what I kept picturing.
What a fucking callback! Oh my god!
It's literally all I can think about for a
Literally-
significant chunk of the movie.
You could ask me that question a billion times, and I would not pull that one. Oh my god!
That's all I got. All right. Would you recommend this, Casey?
Yes.
Rachel?
I'm a sadist, so yes.
Jonathan?
Yes.
It's a no for me, dog. Sorry.
I was thinking, I was like, whoever got the like 4 thumbs up on their bingo card is gonna be bummed.
Damn.
Rough one.
All right, y'all. Let's take a quick break and do some fan mail.
Send feedback to info@bloodygoodhorror.com or on Twitter using hashtag AskBGH. Join Patreon to get back episodes and much more. Patreon.com/bloodygoodhorror.
I I had to go get some water. I didn't want my pee to look like that lady's. So I'm getting on top of it. Poor Liz, just on an island unto herself out in the comments there tonight. We appreciate you, Liz.
We see you.
Yes, we do.
Here we go. John is Bender.
The robot?
I
do
that's what
love
she
Bender.
means. Yeah.
Bender Bending Rodriguez.
John's not as funny as Bender. I do love John.
Bite my
Really.
shiny metal ass. I think. That's
John's
He's
more of a
cynical though.
John's more of a straight man, you know.
Yeah.
Very important update, John. It was pointed out to me on Slack this week that I had Hard Eyes and Fear Street in my top 10, but not Final Destination. So I stopped everything I was doing to go look at my list because that didn't sound right.
Yeah.
What I realized
is
was-
Hard Eyes doing on there.
What I realized was I placed Final Destination on my list outside of the show. So people know it's at number 6. It's above both of those movies. So everybody can calm down. It's gonna be all right. I think that was we already talked about Jimmy and Stiggs. And when's the release date on that bad boy, John?
August 15th.
Love it. Go see it because I invested in the horror section.
True.
So
Yeah.
it's the only
I want to
investment
buy
I've ever
my
made in my
island.
life.
Come on, folks.
I gotta buy Christmas presents, man.
The hilarity is by the time it comes time to like call on that investment, I'm not gonna remember how to get into my fucking crypto wallet. Are you kidding me?
Right.
It's not a goddamn
Guys, I'll
chance.
get you into your crypto wallet. Like, this is a thing I'll do for you. All right.
He'll take us behind the crypto velvet rope.
I don't think
Thank
it's
you.
real. I don't think crypto's real, honestly. Casey, what do we got on Threads?
We got a couple out there. First one comes from our good buddy Popcorn.Designs. When's John gonna flex those horror section creds and get an Eli Roth intro bumper for the show?
Hey.
You know, I could ask.
You know-
I can put the ask in.
We have actually, our friend Jason from Dads from the Crypt got us more bumpers that I think I just never got around to cutting because at some point I just decided I didn't want to cut things for the show anymore. We appreciate his efforts, but that's
That
why all of our
Jason is the
bumpers
best.
are like 10 years old.
He got me a Vasquez, like a signed Vasquez print. Like, he's the best.
I wonder if she snars approach Eli with his cell phone and do it like the old days. Do you mind recording a bumper for my podcast?
Yeah, I might get the
Greatest
brush
show
off.
there is, or greatest television there is.
We've been doing this so long. We now have to answer the question, how do we feel about bumpers from people who are no longer with us?
Yeah.
Because there's multiple in our bank of bumpers.
I mean, they
True.
live on through the bumper. That's
Yeah.
the legacy they always
Yeah.
dreamed of.
I think it's a good tribute.
Okay. I love
Wait,
it.
you're not still using the bumpers, though. Didn't we just say that?
No, I am. I'm saying I haven't cut any new ones,
He's
and
using
even though we
old
have
ones.
some more material.
Gotcha.
All right, we got one more out there. I almost forgot. I was reading threads. The next one comes from our buddy Metal Prof. For some stupid reason, I've become fascinated with movies and YouTube vids of people mountain climbing, especially Everest and other really high peaks. I get more anxiety and nerves watching those than I ever do with horror. Do you have a non-horror theme that gives you the heebie-jeebies?
Interesting.
Good question.
Those
can't
videos of like I don't voluntarily see these. Once in a great moon they'll pop up my algorithm, but like, well, now it's gonna fucking happen that I'm talking about it.
Yeah. This is dangerous.
People who like to like put cameras on their heads and squeeze themselves through like tiny little caves that they can barely fit their
Yes.
bodies through. Just eat me into the sun. I don't want to see
Yeah,
that.
I can't do that.
That sounds
100
terrible.
I have not seen that, and I'm very sad that it's now a part of my algorithm. I mean, but the ones where the people like put on the GoPros and then like climb insane towers and like hang
Yeah.
off of them, those like make me do involuntary like
That I don't like,
pelvic
but
floor
ironically,
exercises.
Yes.
what I do like though, you know what's interesting, Rachel, though, is I think it's like
Sorry, John.
it's a tension thing about like what if they do fall, because what I do like is when somebody straps a GoPro to their head and just like jumps off a canyon and has like a parachute or something, like, because there's no tension there because they're gonna do it. Like I watched them do it and they landed. It's fine.
Rachel, I 100% understand what you're saying. Those climbing videos, and they get to the top and stand on top of a radio tower. I physically
Or like hold on with one hand and be like, hey.
yeah, I physically get that punch to the groin. It's like, oh god,
that's a nicer way of putting it. I feel a punch to the groin.
It's like, oh no.
Swallow, John. You can do it. You can do it.
And that's it for threads.
Jace says John is Hermes. Little Greek mythology there.
No, I think he's talking about the character from Futurama.
Oh, Futurama.
The bureaucrat. The bureaucrat. He's the business
That's less
guy
cool.
of
Liz, I was actually talking about his alcoholism at that moment, but John is, I don't know, I'm getting professor vibes.
Okay, we'll cast the rest of us. I feel left
Old
out.
Zoidberg.
Yeah.
Love it. We only have one question on Instagram tonight, and it is not a question. Brian Wolford, I thought we brought sexy back. Every day, my friend.
2024 was the year of
Every
horny
day.
horror. I'm sorry. Now it's just back to grief.
Now it's back to crying. in the
God, last
popcorn.
year was horny for horror in a great way.
In a great
Like, I'm thinking of, like, what was that bodybuilder movie that I loved? What was that? The
Love
lady-
Lies Bleeding.
Yes.
Come on. Like, that was...
Come
That's
on.
the A24 I want, Rachel.
Was that A24?
I don't even know if that was A24.
What was
but
the
I
one?
followed
It was like the
probably
not
Neon
Don't
or
Worry,
some
Darling.
shit.
It was the one.
Strange
where
Darling.
Strange Darling was
Yeah.
there, like
That was guys. We
Maybe
had to have some
that's
like
why-
real conversations during that.
Maybe
that
that's why I'm so
episode,
bummed
you know?
out about horror this year. Like, where's the horny stuff? Come on.
yeah,
Yeah.
not a single boner in this movie.
Yeah, no, I'm looking at my, like, no horny movies on my whole list unless you count The Rule of Jenny Penn, John.
Oh god.
No, I'm sorry. I take that back. Sinners, not horny enough, but pretty horny.
pretty horny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
For
feel
my
like it's like
taste.
appropriately horny.
For my taste, not
It was
enough.
Huck to a horny. Yeah, yeah.
Could have gone farther, but I respect it.
I mean, Jennifer Love Hewitt's still got some fans out there, some diehard fans. So I know what you did last
still
summer
hope.
could turn out sexy.
What's going on? There's another one of those that she's in?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The trailer. I didn't get it in front of this. I got it
I got it in front of this. Yeah.
last time I went to it. I
Fascinating.
can't
What does it look
whenever
like?
I saw that.
Is it just her returning?
No. It's like a new generation who have like run somebody down, and then they like it's kind of like the Scream model, where then they have to like go and ask advice from the elder statesmen.
Yeah.
And Jennifer Love Hewitt.
Is this going
What did you do
theatrical or
last
no?
summer? Yeah.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
going theatrical, bro.
I'm actually okay. It looks terrible, but I'm excited about it because it is woman directed, so I will be seated for that one.
Fascinating.
That's part of John's,
Women can
90s
direct
coming
bad
back.
movies too.
Oh, I'm aware. I cover a lot of them.
That's true. You know better than anyone.
Oh, Jace, only one movie on your list has bum licking. Yeah,
Is that Jenny Penn? Does it get the bum looking?
Ugly
It
Stepsister's
does,
like a little
the
horny.
bum. Yeah,
too.
Jenny Penn's
Oh,
bum.
oh, the
Oh,
Jenny
he's
Penn
like
bum.
in the,
Yeah.
he's like in the,
Yeah, like I did. That part I saw.
Frankie, isn't Hard Eyes horny? The van at the drive-in scene. Yeah, there's some moments in there.
It's like,
Could
come
have gone
on.
further. Yeah.
But it's only that one scene. Like last year, it was
Listen.
like horny the whole movie.
Love Lies Bleeding is devastatingly horny. That's what I'm looking to work with here. Like, yeah, Rachel's getting hot just talking about it. Like, let's.
Okay. This movie has a forever scene with the flossing scene. That movie also has a forever scene that lives in my head rent free, and it takes place in a bathroom.
Amazing. Loved that movie. Fascinating about the I know we did last summer thing. There was I might have sent this to some of you guys. There was I know not John, but there was a reel that was going around recently about the original film and about how, you know, that like really iconic scene where she finds a body or she finds crabs or something in her trunk, and the camera kind of zooms out and she spins around and she's like, "What do you want from me?" And it's like this whole dramatic scene. That scene was directed by like a 12-year-old kid who won a contest to direct a scene in the movie, and they brought him on set and he's like, "I want her to spin around and I want the camera to like move around while she's spinning, while she like yells. That was not in the script. That kid fucking made it up on spot. She like Jennifer Love Hewitt is talking about it in this reel, and it's like the most iconic scene in the movie. I was like,
And that kid
incredible.
was Ari Aster.
incredible. Just that's forget AI.
That's wild.
That's movie making. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the kind of chaos I want.
I wonder if the director's just like, God damn it. Like every single time that's the shot that ends up in montage.
I know.
Yeah.
Speaking of movie making, John, did you see Blumhouse acquiring Saw rights from Twisted Pictures?
No. Oh, is that today?
In a
Yep.
deal that will bring James Wan back in touch with the mega horror IP he created, we hear from several sources that Blumhouse is acquiring the prospective rights to Twisted Pictures' portion of the Saw franchise.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Lionsgate will continue to be involved as a partner and owns 50% of the franchise. So they're buying Twisted Pictures part of it.
Cool. They also bought the rights to make a movie out of Phasmophobia, which is a video game I played way.
Phasmophobia? Wow. That
That's
was
like
an
one of the
old,
first CD-ROM games.
Yeah, live action, or what do they used to call them?
VMR or something like that.
Phasmagoria. I'm talking about
No,
Phasmophobia.
what's the FMV, full motion video.
Yeah.
Back when that was like a feature you would like tout on your CD-ROM games. That sounds cool.
You're right, Rachel. I was thinking Phantasmagoria.
Yeah. No, this is like a ghost hunting game that is. I don't know. I've played many.
Interesting. There was a Saw 11 in development that was previously scheduled for September 2025. The project was stalled. Lionsgate and the producers of the Saw franchise didn't see eye to eye in the 11th movie. Saw 11 scribes Melton and our old bros from 20 years ago, Melton and Dunstan, turned in a draft in 2024 with Saw X director Kevin Grutero attached to direct. Saw X was butt. It just, no.
Guys,
telling ya.
this is where I'm like, I can't get too excited. Like, Saw, maybe just let's put it on ice for.
I've
like,
said this
10
many
years.
times. I will get excited when they Jason Lives Saw, and lightning strikes the ground, and Tobin Bell comes up, and he's just Saw again.
At
and he's
this
just
point,
a
they're
zombie.
gonna have to.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
What else are you gonna do? Like,
I mean, you can't just keep doing mid-holes.
also though, isn't he
right?
kind of? How old is he?
Here's the,
He's
but here's the
82.
genius.
He's 82.
As he ages, you're just like, damn, that shit is metastasizing. Like,
We
you
might
know
be
what
in
I mean?
reboot. Okay, so we might be in like reboot territory. Then who's the new?
They tried
the
to do
new
that like
Jigsaw?
3 times.
No, but they weren't. But like, they weren't doing serious casting there. They were just giving him sidekicks. Like, you need like, I'm saying if you reboot it, who's Tobin Bell?
Chris Evans.
Elijah
I like
Wood.
that.
Elijah.
Elijah
Honestly,
Wood?
Elijah
Into
Wood would
Elijah
be
Wood.
interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I could get on board with that.
It'd be a different kind of crazy, but I would
My vote
be
is
interested.
Jim Carrey.
I almost said Jim Carrey.
Okay.
I mean, honestly,
I'm joking, but kind of
maybe.
not.
Would watch that.
Did you see that what was that movie where it's like takes place in the desert? It's by Lily Anna Amarpour. I can't think what it's called, but he plays like someone completely like a desert rat that's like completely unrecognizable. Has
Jim
Jason
Carrey
Momoa.
does. Interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and Keanu Reeves is in it. Did anybody else see this? Am I alone in this?
Like, this sounds like a fucking ChatGPT movie you're
Yeah.
describing right now. What are you
That
talking
combination of
about?
words
Well,
you
it's
just said
like-
was wild.
There's like roving cannibals. None of this is ringing bells. And
No,
like
ma'am.
Keanu Reeves is like a cult leader named Dream, who's like got all the pregnant. Like he's like
Rachel.
Elon Musk. He's got all the pregnant ladies around
No, but
him.
I'd like to see it, please.
Yeah, like,
the
are
hell
you
is it
serious
called?
right now?
I'm 100% serious. It was her follow up to a Girl Walks Home Alone at Night. I can't think of what it's called.
Oh my god. I'm like, how do I even look this up? What her
Point Break.
Yeah, Point Break.
What's her name? I'm
Anna Lily Amarpour. It is called The Bad Batch.
Oh, I did remember that poster. I didn't see it.
Yeah,
I don't
she's got a
think.
smiley face on her butt.
Oh yeah, I mean I do remember this poster as well, but I definitely did not see this movie.
Yeah.
Fascinating.
But like Jim Carrey is unrecognizable. My point, like he would actually be really interesting.
What's it
'Cause
called?
we'll-
It's a good cast.
The Bad Batch. It takes place in like a post-apocalyptic world where cannibalism is running
2016.
rife. Yeah.
I had
Yeah,
no
right,
idea
he
this was a
does.
It
cannibalism
opens with her
movie.
and she's like pushing herself on a skateboard because somebody's eating her leg.
Oh yeah, look at that. There's a butt on the poster. I love a poster butt. Man, we used to be a country.
Yeah. We used to be a country. We used to objectify with gusto. Now we're all like faces.
Rachel,
Gross.
I didn't say what kind of butt. I just said poster butt.
Yeah.
Could be anyone's poster butt.
You can objectify anyone. It's interesting that you assume that I meant a woman.
You just Uno reverse carded me.
I sure did. Yeah. Don't bring a knife to a feminism fight, okay?
Clearly a lesson I should have learned by now. What is next week?
Dangerous animals.
What is this again? I've heard
This
of
is the
Serial
theater?
killer by way of shark.
yeah. Like I almost don't want to tell him if he hasn't seen any of the trailers. Like let him go in totally
I have
cold.
seen, no, I have seen a trailer.
It's
for that.
Sean Byrne? Is that the director? Sean Byrne?
Is this theater?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got it.
It's the candy. Something not hard candy. Where he's like the metal dude that's like an artist. He did that movie.
Devil's Candy.
Devil's Candy. That's
Oh
it.
yeah, I like that. We also talked about recording on Tuesday for anyone who I don't. Are we still? Is that possible or no?
Next
Feels like an
Tuesday.
offline conversation, John.
Okay. Well, for the fans, for the listeners.
Wow.
Jim Carrey
Take
in
that,
this
patrons.
movie, he looks like Bill Moseley in The Devil's Rejects. Is
Yeah.
exactly what he looks like. Yeah.
Unrecognizable.
Mosley's
choice.
beard was better, I will say. John,
You can't
go
half
back.
Mosley it, dude. You got to
You
go
could go
full
back
Mosley.
18 years in the show and hear me saying that I've said multiple times in the show that one day my beard goal is to look like Bill Moseley in Devil's Rejects, and like I'm pretty much there.
Yeah.
yeah,
You need to lose like 30 pounds.
and grow long stringy hair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, not that you have 30 pounds
I was
to
just
lose.
the
That's
beard,
the
really.
point,
I
just
wasn't
to be
trying
clear.
to. I wasn't trying to get the whole rest.
Oh,
of
I
it.
see.
Yeah,
Okay.
love it. All right, next week. What?
Dangerous animals.
Dangerous animals.
Dangerous animals. And that's it. That's gonna do it for BGH this week. Hope you enjoyed the show. We'll talk to you next week.
See yous.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.